So are you ready to PR yourself? We'll remove the mystery from all things PR, and we'll discuss everything from our top strategies to tips and tricks and everything that you can utilize to further enhance your brand or your message. I've been in media, I'm a journalist, and I'm also a publicist. I am Leah Frazier, CEO of Think3 Media, and your host for PR Yourself with Leah Frazier. Let's go. Welcome back to another episode of PR Yourself with Leah Frazier, and I'm so excited for my next guest just because I consider her to be a friend. We kind of, no. She's giving me this look. Y'all can't see her in the studio right now. Like, what? More like a sister, a big sister. Started off as a client, and we latched on to one another, became friends, and now it's more like a sisterhood where I've actually shared my location with her on my phone. And from time to time, she'll be like, what the heck is Leah doing over in this area of town? But that just shows you the extent of our relationship. So I would love to introduce you guys to the wonderful Quiana McDaniel of the House of Dasha. Yay! Hi, Quiana.
Hi, Leah. Hi, Lily. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I am doing. Okay, we'll just say that. I am doing.
How's business with COVID?
Business has been really, really great. You know, I can't say unfortunately, because you don't want to be doing so great when everybody is doing so badly. But yeah, when the world is being so bad, you don't want to say, oh, business is great, but business is comfortable.
So I'll tell you guys a little bit about the House of Dasha. It is a women's clothing boutique, but what I love about the House of Dasha is that it caters to women of all sizes. So even up to 3X.
Sometimes 4, sometimes 5. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But it's very fashionable. Like when people see you walk down the street, it could still be those wardrobe staples, but it pops. They know it comes from.
It's a signature House of Dasha look.
They know it comes from the House of Dasha. So that's why I love what Quiana's doing.
It's so funny because my customers say that all the time. They say, we shop everywhere, but when we shop here, I get the most compliments. I get the most, and it's all about that one-on-one touch. I make sure I touch every customer. That's all.
So I wanted to bring you on. This is a little bit of a twist because we've had publicists, we have media people signed up to do the podcast, but I wanted to do the entrepreneur's perspective because you guys' outlook on PR is just a little bit different.
Yeah, Yes, it is. Yes,
it's very different. And I think the part that kind of kills me the most is that when most people reach out and they think about PR, and I will say this from like a startup entrepreneur standpoint, they think it only means media, press, getting into newspapers and magazines.
No, and that's definitely not what PR only means.
Right.
Yeah, I had to learn through my journey, our journey of PRing together, that PR was not just about the House of Dasha, but me being the brand with the House of Dasha. And that was a struggle because I like to be behind the scenes, and I don't like to be seen. I like for my customers to shine and the people that shop with me to shine. And it was a struggle for me to do that.
Why was it a struggle?
Because it's almost like, one, I don't want everybody knowing who I am. You know how I feel about that. Not that I have anything to hide or anything. It feels like people latch on to you that's not supposed to. And it just, I don't want that. I like real, genuine relationships, and I don't like people just coming to me because I own a store. That happens.
Okay, but let's backtrack though. Mm-hmm. You didn't want to be the face of your brand.
I sure didn't.
I came in and said, unfortunately,
you're gonna have to.
You own a business not only that has a storefront, but that is e-commerce. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. People want to relate to who's behind the brand. They want to see behind the scenes. They want to know, because if they can relate to Quiana,
then they can relate to what I'm producing and what I'm selling and what
even
I'm
if it's out. I use this analogy all the time. Mm-hmm. You could be selling poo-poo on the street.
You're right.
But if they like Quiana and they think you're funny and they trust you and you built that trust online, they're going to buy and wear the poo-poo on the street.
But, you know, another thing that I learned by staying behind the scenes is that a lot of people thought that other people own my brand. You know, I'll be somewhere and they'll say, oh, so-and-so owns the House of Dasha. And I'm sitting right there. And I'm like, no, I own the House of Dasha. Or they'll say, oh, I know Dasha. And I'm sitting right there. And I'm like, oh, you don't know me. So
I would have played along because I'm petty. I'd be like, oh, you do? What's she
but
like?
you know, sometimes I do, and that backfired on me because I did one time, and they told me that they said some negative things, legit. And me and my representative, I had a vendor representative with me at the time who knew who I was. And she was just like, oh, my God, she don't even know you. She don't even know that she's talking to you. And I told her why, because many people at that time did not know that I owned my brand. And she said some very negative things like, oh, I worked with her before. It was all lies because she didn't know me. She was looking me dead in my face. And she said, oh, I worked with her before and things, And I'm like, oh, really? Then I was like, oh, I'm Dasha. She said, but I thought your name is Quiana. Yeah, Quiana Dasha. Yeah. And we've never worked together. And ever since then, she's never been able to look at me in the face. Like, wow. I see her a lot. And ever since, she's never been able to look at me in the face. So that was another stage where you were right.
Whoa.
I'll say it again.
Pause. Hold on. Pause for reflection. I want you to say this one more time because this is recorded.
I will say it again. You were right that people didn't need to know the story behind the brand, because had I not said nothing, she would have rolled off and said that false story to other people. And it was so funny because at this time I was really growing. We had just did the Mega Fest, and I was really growing, and I'm thinking, oh, I got all this support. And then to see someone who did not know me to say such negative things because they had seen me on so many different platforms, I was like, oh my God, these people here are crazy. Like, how does this work? And my rep that was with me that day, she was like, you're not mad? And I was like, no, I would have been mad if I didn't say anything to her. I wouldn't have been mad if I would have just let it roll off my shoulder and didn't correct it. Now that I know that she know who I am, I know she won't go making up stories anymore.
And I think that's something to be said. I like to call them keyboard thugs and
God.
internet gangsters. And it's like, I feel like as human beings, if we can put a face to the brand, that pettiness that we have behind the keyboard, the bullying with Google and Facebook reviews, sometimes people will think twice if they can put an actual human being like
to the brand.
Oh, well, I'm actually going to call Quiana first before I put that review out there because I know her personally. Whereas if you've never stepped in front of the brand, then they don't have any person to associate that with, and it's easier for them to go out and make up lies or leave bad reviews.
Or another bad part that I had to learn again, where people were saying, oh, I know the owner of the House of Dasha, I can get this done for you, and this and this and this. And I had no clue. I had people come into my store and say, oh, so and so know you and said that you was willing to do this. I don't even know you. Like I have no clue. And I would call Leah and say, Leah, what is going on? Like, what is it? I would refer them all to Leah because, of course, she's my PR. But I'm like, what is going on with people? Why do people do things like this? And I'm not even at this. I tell people all the time, I'm just like you. I'm a regular.
Yeah, she is.
Down-earth person. People will see you as like, oh, you got this going on. And that might be true. But in my eyes, I am so regular. Leah knows.
But not basic. I want to correct.
But not basic. I am so regular, but not basic. And what that means is that we've met many celebrities together, right? Mm-hmm. I have not treated anyone any different.
Sometimes she don't even know when they come in her store.
I'm like, okay, and they'll say who they are, and I'm like, okay, and I'll sit there and they're like, oh, Leah sent me, so I text Leah, this girl up in here using your name, and but a lot of the times I have no clue who they are. And I like it that way because I'm able to give them the true. First of all, I'm gonna give you the true me regardless, but they really get to see me. So I was forced to bring myself to the brand because of all these little back issues. And trust me, we've grown. When me and Leah, we'll talk about that later, but when me and Leah met, my first thing I told her is that I wanted the House of Dasha to be one of the number one boutiques in Dallas. and I wanted everybody to know it. When you say the House of Dasha, I wanted people to know, oh, I've heard of that. And we've conquered that, smashed that, knocked that ceiling out the wall. But I didn't know all that other stuff will come with it. She tried to warn me. But I didn't know all that other stuff will come with it. But it's been a great journey.
Were to weigh, for anybody that's listening in, and this is, I'm glad you brought this up, because this is a question I get all of the time. Whenever I teach my course, PR Yourself, there's always a group of people in the class that says, I don't want the focus on me. I only want it on the product. But if you were to weigh the pros of actually putting yourself out there in the manner that you did versus before you met me, like what are some of those pros?
Okay, so the pros is people will not only identify the brand, but they'll identify you with the brand. And that's important. I learned that the hard way. You know, I just went through all of that. Another pro is that they trust the brand a little bit more. I am very in tune with all of my customers. I had one who was diagnosed with COVID, and I was right at her front door with medicine meds. And she's like, yeah, girl, you got COVID. I know not to touch you, but here's everything you need, a goodie bag. I did that to like 3 of my customers, and not just trying to keep business, but we are in a time where we've never been before. This is like our great-great-grandparents' story, and now we're reliving it. And so I think that me being, bringing myself to the light and being more personable and letting people know who I am and getting the idea of who I am and not just the brand, it builds confidence. Like they won't even look on another person's site without calling me first. And I'll be like, it's okay, go ahead. It's okay to get it. It's okay. And then I'll say the final one is just building my brand enough to know that it's a power. It has power. It has weight. I'm a girl from west side of Chicago who moved to Dallas with not knowing anybody in Dallas. You know, it's almost like an anomaly. I didn't know anybody when I moved here, and now it's all my friends at home like, oh, you doing it? No, I ain't doing a thing. No, don't. You know, I'm not doing nothing. But almost making the House of Dasha a staple. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say a staple, and I'm real proud of that.
What are your tips for people? Because another thing that I always get is, okay, I'm about to get in front of this brand, but I don't like social media. I don't like being in front of a camera. I don't want to do live streams. There's a list of excuses. My hair's not done. My makeup's not done. You know.
All the excuses I've given you.
All the excuses you've given me, and what did I say?
Get on it. Do it.
Get over it.
Get out the way. Get on, do it.
So how did you overcome that? Because you had that issue.
I still have that issue, but I don't let myself tell me no. I don't let myself tell me no. You know, I'll call you knowing that I don't want to do it, right? Like the whole news thing when they came into my boutique and they wanted to do a news segment, like right on the spot. I'm like, hold up, no. You know, everybody think I just wanted to jump on the news. I would not have been on the news if Leah would not have told me to be on the news. Because I've told him flat out no. But that's my challenge. It's a daily challenge. But you have to overcome that. You know, I've done, oh my God, like people don't even know about that. But I've sat in on a small business caucus with Vice President Joe Biden. Period. That's enough said. Like, to be able to give the vice president input on initiatives that he's looking to implement on his next platform, I ain't got to do nothing else. I'm like, girl.
And this is the person that didn't want to do live streams.
Didn't want to do none of that. None of that. I didn't want. And then the more you do, the more people will. Because I never solicit anything. I never say, "Hey, Leah, I want to do this." Everything since you've met me, everything is always just said. They've reached out to us. Mm-hmm. That's a fact. Because I'm not the one to go looking for it. I don't want to do it. But everything that we've put on a plate for the House of Dasha, God has put it on the plate. I have not had to search. I have not had to recruit. I have nothing. I
think too, once you start putting yourself out there and you really get over the fear, whatever that is. Everybody has different fears, and you realize that it's really not that big a deal.
It's you.
It's you.
Yep.
They're
It's you.
actually waiting to hear from you.
you.
They're
Yeah.
actually waiting
Yeah.
to hear from you.
Yeah.
You'll start to see that if you engage in that activity consistently, like Quiana said, a lot of those opportunities will attract.
It's just gonna come.
You will attract them to yourself.
Because I remember being petrified. Like the first couple of times, like Leah would have to tell me exactly what to say and not to veer from it, because I will go off on a tangent.
Can I tell them a
Yes,
little bit?
yes,
Since we have a little bit of time in this segment. Yeah. So, pro tip, which is a little sidebar. Don't be afraid to get a little media training.
Please.
If you've never done a TV segment or a radio segment before, that is well worth your money.
Because Leah still talks about me today, because on a particular interview, I couldn't stop smiling and laughing, and it was on a serious matter. But
I wasn't even going to talk about that one.
Okay, I thought you were talking about it. Was on
several instances.
I have several instances. See, people that know me know I laugh at everything. Leah had to learn the hard way, but I laugh at everything. It's like a nerve reflex. When I'm really nervous, I just laugh. And on a particular interview, I won't say which interview, but I could not stop laughing, and it was a really serious topic. And I remember sending Leah the tape, and she's like, "Why were you laughing?" I'm like, "I couldn't help it.
We can't circulate this. Don't circulate this interview."
I couldn't help it because I was so nervous. But I was still proud that I did it. But that's why I needed that media training because I could not laugh. And when we did another interview, the WFAA interview, I didn't laugh as much. She was very proud of me. She was like, "Oh my God, you didn't laugh," because I'm just a crocodile. I just bust out and just crack up. And my mom tell Leah all the time, that's all she does. Just let her laugh it out.
But that's one of the things too. Like, if you're not going to have a publicist and you're going to do this thing on your own, which you totally can. Like, this is what the point of this podcast is about. You just have to know yourself. So you're going to have to practice in front of a mirror, or you may have to, consult on some media training to know that, hey, I laugh as a nervous reflex when I'm nervous about something, or in a situation, maybe I get so nervous that I over provide information.
Yes. Oh, that's another one.
So, like, we did the segment years ago. Black Panther came out, and I pitched the TV station.
That was funny.
That she was selling out of African prints because everybody Wakanda forever, at the movie theater. So they like the segment idea. They come out, and before they get there, like, Quiana has this story about how she is very particular about where she sources the clothing, the factories that they source the clothes from. And she'll have a saying like, "I need to know. I need to make sure there's not rats and roaches and all the da-da-da-da-da." That's great. Don't say that on TV.
She was so mad. I think I said
and
that.
She said it.
I think I said that in the Dallas old magazine.
You said it
I
at
said
some
twice.
magazine.
I said it twice.
I tried.
And I'm like, I got to get out of the roach theory.
Roaches and rats.
Yeah, I have to get out again, I am a girl from the west side of Chicago, so everybody they've seen a rat and they done seen a roach. So a lot of comparisons come from that. And Leah said, "Please, Quiana, could you stop comparing everything to rats and roaches?" And I was like, "Well, okay."
But in that, I think knowing those things about yourself over time, when you started becoming more consistent in putting yourself out there, whether that's via social media, she does lives like all the time.
All the time. And I haven't conquered being in front of the camera as much, but I do get on there. I do like customer feedback lives, which is me, maybe once a week. I want to do more, so that's just me putting it out there, in the atmosphere. I do want to do more. But my lives are really taking off. Like, I have customers' engagements. It's like, as soon as I do a live, the next day, it's like, book. Right now, we're only booking appointments, so we're not open. But the next day, it's like, book. Everybody's coming in to get whatever I just lived or whatever I just talked about. So that's a great way. People are so visual that if you're not doing lives or reels or Insta stories or Instagram TV or Facebook videos, you're not going nowhere. Like, the days of posting a picture and somebody is just purchasing off your picture, those are almost gone. Period. They want to see how it flows. They want to see the quality of it. They want to see the color, the vibrancy, they want to feel like it's right in their living room without them even purchasing it yet. And if you can't produce that, you're not going to be able to move anything. Even on a book, like the Promise book we did. Mm-hmm. I'm working on a video now where I'm reading passages.
Look at you.
You know, I don't like my voice. I'm going to see how it work out. But I'm reading passages so that I can do a video so that it can bring the people inside the book.
I just got so many good ideas.
Don't be playing
with
my...
We'll take it offline. No, it's not your idea.
Look, don't be playing.
I got another offshoot idea. I have to talk to Dr. Kimberly about
it. Okay.
But as we kind of wrap this segment, before we go into our PR news, I'm so excited for it. I can't wait. But no, before we wrap this segment, I just think it's so important that this isn't even what we were supposed to talk about, but I think it's a perfect subject just because so many people don't want, as small business owners, startups, entrepreneurs, whatever you have, small businesses, you don't want to be in front of your brand. And I just, unfortunately, we are at a day and age where you have to. There's so much noise in the marketplace that one of those, when you talk about branding as a whole, you have to figure out what makes you unique. And the only way to kind of stand out in this digital landscape where there's so much going on
is infusing yourself.
Showing your personality, putting that human touch and interaction. And like Quiana said, one of those ways is via social media, going live consistently, connecting with your customers. And I love that you brought that up because people do not view that as a part of PRing themselves. They only say, I want to be on the newspaper, magazines, without realizing that sometimes you're going to get the most traction if you're doing that type of PRing for yourself, which is social media
because
or marketing.
It's instant. And if you think about like the press and the interviews and all of that, that's all in waves. So just think about when we did the CW interview. That was a wave of maybe 3 weeks or so. But after that was over, then what? You know, it's not going to carry you. Like, people can go back and see your Instagram Lives videos forever. And it'll pop up on somebody's timeline because Facebook is 6 degrees separation. What that means, if you see something on my page, 6 people or your friends is going to see that same picture. So imagine having 5,000 followers times 6. Somebody's going to see it, right? So that video is going to pop up somewhere, somehow. And out of that 1 or 2%, you're going to get a purchase. You're going to get a click. You're going to get something. So it's forever lasting. Whereas the publications and all of that, it cycles out.
So PR tip as we get in, and it's going to stress a lot of you guys out. And I don't care. Okay. Got that out of the way. As we talk about social media, I do want to say that hot off the press right now is Instagram Reels. And we're just going to go ahead. We're going to do a whole nother segment. I'm going to bring in some TikTokers that have, because when TikTok first came out, several years ago, I was at a digital marketing conference in Canada. And when we were talking about TikTok, it was only Generation Z that was on TikTok. So everybody was trying to figure out, all these marketers were come to the table to say,
how to monetize it.
How can we monetize it? But we have this product. Does it fit TikTok? Now, how do we advertise on that platform? But now, and I totally think that what has happened, and we talk about this sometimes in consumer behavior, is like you will have children that live in a family household that teach their parents some of these platforms. So now we have every generation on TikTok now. Parents probably doing it more so than their kids.
No, I have Naria.
People are selling.
Yeah, I have Naria over my TikTok. I have it. She sets it all up. She does the reels and everything because that's her. You know, she's a techie. That's her area of expertise. But I haven't mastered TikTok yet, which I need to.
You need to.
But trust me, Naria's like a second arm. So why?
But let me tell you what's going on. Yes, master TikTok. Now, 2 years ago, I was telling anybody that was marketing a product or service to Generation X, Millennial, Baby Boomer, the silent generation, don't do it. I've totally changed my mind because now we've had this wave of individuals across all ages on this platform. Now, Instagram released Instagram Reels. Okay. It's still in the height of being new. So if you can go and re-download and upload those same videos you've been posting to TikTok into your Instagram Reels, you will get thousands upon thousands of views. Like my videos, I'm not even consistent, and I'm getting 5,000 hits.
Oh no.
I'm on the explore page.
I have like 20,000.
Exactly, but that's my point.
On my Reels.
That's my point.
And all we're doing is just doing little clips like, "Hey boo, I'm cute," you know, and they like, "Yeah, she cute. I need that too."
That's my point. And we're making it way too much harder than it actually needs to be. And since it's new, they're pretty much giving you the engagement.
So speaking on a social media platform, though, because my turn is that you can't post Reels all day. So they're hot tickets to post, but you know you got to set up on how many times you're going to post it. Because my Reels go crazy.
Yeah, we can't get into that right now.
Okay,
that's a whole okay.
Another podcast. Okay.
No, I think what I'm going to do, I don't know why I'm brainstorming in the middle of live recording, but we're going to bring people back. Quiana's going to represent Instagram Reels alongside myself, and then I think I have two other girls here who have mastered TikTok. We'll bring them in, and we'll give you guys top tips and tricks, because that is a way to PR yourself and get those views. Yeah. And so I think that'll be fun.
Oh, I got a good idea. I'm going to do it and then come back.
Yeah. Well, you're just going to be a regular.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's segue. Okay. We only have a few minutes, but every episode I want to hit my PR hot news.
PR yourself hot news.
Hot news. Hot. Drop it. So I want to talk. So this is the segment where you're going to put yourself into the mindset of a publicist. And I want to know if you agree with the strategy, because it had to have involved some publicists at some point, or if you would have done things differently.
Okay.
So I want to talk about Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez.
Okay, so
all right, hold on.
You know I'm mad.
Hold on.
Okay.
So for those of you guys that don't know, Meg Thee Stallion allegedly was shot in the foot by music artist Tory Lanez. It kind of blew up. Megan kept very quiet about the situation for a very long time. So Tory didn't officially get charged with any crime. She was just, she went to the hospital. She got everything worked out. And being like one of the top rappers, female rappers in the game right now, she kind of just, it happened, went about her business, but didn't speak on the issue. Now, fast forward, Tory has been charged. They reset his hearing date.
He's made a whole album about it.
He made a whole album about it, pretty much speaking and saying that he loved Megan or whatever. And pretty much, in my opinion, it's like, okay, you're admitting to guilt, which who approved this? Admitting to guilt. But from two perspectives, okay, I'll represent Megan. You can represent Tory Lanez.
Okay.
All right. From Tory Lanez's perspective, you're his publicist. Would you have approved the PR move of him releasing the album that discusses what happened?
No, I would not, because of any potential pending charges. That to me, the album is like putting his foot in his mouth with any charges that may come about or that may be against him. So no, the answer is no. I would not have approved it. I would have stayed quiet.
Even if they think this is great for sales, everybody's talking about it, so I'm going to release this CD that talks about it because this is good for streaming.
All money ain't good money. That's my first go-to period in life. All money ain't good money. If you can't lay down at night and be comfortable with your decision, then you shouldn't do it. And that's a decision that I wouldn't be able to lay down and be comfortable with. So that'd be a no. There's no price on freedom.
I'm almost convinced he didn't loop his publicist into this.
I know he couldn't have.
They're doing crisis management as we speak.
I think it was more so Meg wasn't responding or wasn't communicating, and he was trying to reach out, and he thought that this album would be a way to reach out to her, which is commendable.
Now you just implicated yourself.
But now you just implicated yourself. So I would say no. I would not have approved that.
If I were the publicist, one of the many strategies, because this is going to take a whole heck of a lot for him to come out of, especially with women's issues and respect for women.
I have my opinions on
Yeah, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
But I would have told him to lay low.
Yeah.
And you're going to be volunteering with organizations that kind of like what they did with Chris Brown, Whereas like you need to
that's a whole
volunteer with
a whole nother
organizations that are domestic violence oriented, or something that deals with women's and female empowerment. I'm not comparing.
Okay.
I'm saying part of the strategy is to put them in a positive light. Assisting those organizations or those issues where they're currently in trouble.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I would have said, lay low, no music. I need you out there. Charitable. Period.
You're right.
On Meg's side, she recently released, I think it was in the New York Times. It was almost like, it was very poetic how she talked about protecting Black women. And so this was like her first kind of getting in front of it and spinning the issue to say, I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. I talk about it and you guys still tell me that I was the problem when this man clearly shot me in the foot. And then so she takes that issue and then merges it with protecting Black women.
So here's the thing. Okay, I totally 100% agree. But there's also what I think people fail to pay attention to today, which is cause and the effect. Okay, the effect was you were shot, right? But what was the cause? You know what I'm saying? Not saying that anything that she could have done or he could have done or whatever doesn't make it valid, but there definitely was a cause. And I feel like in today's society, we only talk about the effect of everything. Nobody wants to talk about the cause, which made when you say Chris Brown, I'm like, ugh. Really not the same, because nobody in that situation, nobody wants to talk about the actual cause. They always want to talk about what the blow up, the explosion, the aftermath. But what about lighting a match, putting the fuel on it, and watching it go? Not saying that nobody deserves to be shot or hit or anything, but there are some determining factors that led up to that.
Well, yeah, but when you're in the heat of crisis management.
True.
And some of these causes are because you have some deep psychological and historically, like, family-rooted issues you need to resolve. Some of that stuff, from a PR perspective, you work on that on the back end, but you've got to figure out, how can I gloss the public's perception, and how can I do this quickly?
That's true.
And so in his case, like, in Meg's case, they don't want the blame put on her because people are already blaming her without saying the cause.
Yeah, it's
right.
Yeah, that's true.
And so her spin was, okay, I'm going to talk, but I'm going to put this piece in the New York Times.
So that it kind of shields me from that.
It shields me. Let's talk about protecting Black women. Let's talk about how, as a woman with domestic violence, when we do speak out, we still get shamed. So now she's kind of strategically clouded the issue around those two things versus what did Meg do to actually contribute to this situation, which I've heard it on other radio shows too, where they're talking like, but we're missing a whole chunk of what happened.
And that's important.
And because she didn't talk, so
that's important
this
because
is a hard
people are placing judgment and counseling people when nobody knows what happened. We know the effect, but we don't know the cause. Yeah. So it's hard to say, it's hard to be all Meg or all Tory, you know. In this situation, you just don't know. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Well, we'll leave it at that. If you guys have any comments or thoughts, or if you were going to play publicist for the day, how would you address this situation with Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion? I'm so glad that, I would probably have to pull together an all-star team on that. But I can't appreciate her New York Times piece because I feel like it is culturally relevant right now, especially with Kamala Harris and how people are treating her, President Trump labeling her as a monster, blah, blah, blah. So I do think the timing and the strategy is pretty genius.
It's genius, but does it fit? Because it'll be real. It'll backfire on her if the cause exposes something that she don't want it to.
Right.
You know, it'll really backfire on her if the cause shows something different. So right now, it's amazing.
Well, they're shielding the cause. I'm pretty sure they're hoping that
it never comes out.
Yeah, it never comes out. It'll go away.
Not that the cause could be on her, like against her. The cause could definitely be against Tory, but we just don't know. And for her to be like blowing up right now over it, she can easily fall. Yeah, if the cause is wrong.
Cardi B and Offset allegedly maybe getting back together, so maybe that'll cloud the issue a little bit longer. All right. Well, thank you so much, Quiana, for coming on and telling our PR Yourself
Anytime.
listeners on how to better PR themselves by stepping out in front of their brand. And that is
Yes.
not what our topic was
Yes,
today.
I'm so
That's
sorry.
awesome. And for weighing in on our, Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion situation. So if you guys want to weigh in, definitely leave us a comment. If you want to hear more, email me, Leah at think3media.com. But we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of PR Yourself with Leah Frazier. Just wanted to throw some things out there for you guys that are looking for just a little bit of additional help as you're trying to PR yourself with your business or your brand. I want you guys to know about these resources that I've curated just for you. So you can always head to PR Yourself with Leah Frazier.com, and it will have all the episode recaps there with photos of the folks that are coming on and the panelists, along with the episode recaps and ways that you can reach out to them directly. And also, if you go to PR Yourself with leahfrazier.com/course, then you yourself, if you just can't wait, if you want to dive in there and know all of the nuggets and you want it in more of an educational and informative fashion, please, please, please take my self-paced course, PR Yourself with Leah Frazier. It is one of my highest ranked courses. I've taught this for the last 2 years. I've constantly getting requested to teach this course across the US. I've done it virtually now during the pandemic, and it is a hit. I've had people receive both local and national mentions, things that have helped their businesses truly go to the next level. So remember, PR Yourself with leahfrazier.com/course, and you'll learn everything that you need to do, and you can do it all online, and it's completely self-paced so that you can PR yourself. Also, if you just want to learn more about some of the other marketing courses that we will be dropping periodically throughout the year, go to think3media.com, spell 3 all the way out, /think3edu, and we will be dropping all of our courses there. So that will pertain to everything with social media updates, influencer marketing, content marketing strategies. So if you just need little bits and pieces here and there, that's where you can go to access those courses and that content. We also have a monthly subscription service. So if you want to sign up for that, there will be a link there, think3media.com /think3edu, where once a month you will have one live course with me on something that is trending within marketing that could help you with your business and your brand. And also within that month, there will be a live mastermind session with other business owners or brands just like yourself, where we can mastermind and help you work through some of those marketing and PR issues that you may be having where you feel like you are stuck. We're going to help you PR yourself or market yourself and get unstuck. Okay. And lastly, huge announcement. My PR Yourself with Leah Frazier book is coming. I am finalizing it. It is coming, you guys, and it will drop January 2021. So head to pryourselfbook.com. It's a landing page, but you're able to sign up for my email list so that you get first access to know when that book will be out, and so that you will have yours shipped to you first. So you have to sign up for that list so that once that book launches, you get your hands on yours first. And this will literally be a physical manual that you will have in your office, and you'll be able to carry around with you in order to implement all of the PR strategies that you will need to take your business and brand to the next level. If in fact you're not at a point where you can hire a publicist or a PR agency or a firm. So that is pryourselfbook.com. It's coming January 2021. I'm so excited. I've been working on this for years, you guys, and I'm so excited to give it to you all at an affordable price. But without further ado, just keep listening, binge watching these episodes. I'm so excited to drop many more. And thank you so much for your support. Once again, if you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so. Leah at think3, spell 3 all the way out, media.com, or follow me on social media at the Leah Frazier, at Think3Media. And you can follow the podcast itself at PR Yourself Podcast so that you never miss an episode and never miss an opportunity where you can learn from my media friends or other brands on how to PR yourself better. Until again.